Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining this webinar today. This is Jim from Convirza. We have Bob on the line here as well. A little bit of introduction to get us up and going today. Excited to have Bob. Met him recently, and we've had a lot of discussions about what he's going to be talking on today. And you know, mobile is a big deal. We all know that. I'm looking forward to learning a little bit more how to take advantage of such a great tool. Before we get started, though, a little bit of housekeeping. We're going to have like 10 minutes of Q&A at the end. You can insert your questions at any point along the way. If you find the question box, just put them in there. If they're questions that can be answered right away, I'll do that. If they're questions that we need to hold until the end so that Bob can address them, then we'll go through them one by one at the end of the presentation today. So hopefully you can find that and you'll be able to take advantage of that. As you may or may not know, Bob, fairly well known, been around a while, has done a lot with marketing, has a book called Relevance Raises Response. Also, he has a company called Purplegator that has a lot to do with marketing. But today we're talking about specifically this raise and response through relevance and using our mobile marketing to do that and to get more customers involved with us. Bob has got a lot of interests and he has a lot of exposure. I know he does some teaching at the University of Denver. He's been involved in many organizations, accomplished a lot of great things. Looking forward to hearing this presentation from him today and learning more. And with that, I'm going to turn the time over to Bob.
Thanks, Jim, and thank you for the invite here today. I'm Bob Bentz. I am the president of mobile first digital agency Purplegator, located in suburban Philadelphia. And I'm also the author of Relevance Raises Response, How to Engage and Acquire with Mobile Marketing. If you want to get a copy of the book, it is available at Amazon and other fine online book retailers. Now, one thing that I like to do here when we make presentations is kind of introduce you to some of the great mobile marketing programs that have occurred here in the last couple of years. And I have 9 different videos that correspond to the 9 chapters of my book. So I have one video for each of the chapters. However, one of the shortcomings of the GoToWebinar software is that they only allow you to upload 5 of those videos. So what we're going to do is at the end of the odd number lessons that we go over, we're going to actually play the video that's assigned to both chapter 1 and chapter 2. Okay, so you're going to see 2 in a row, one which is a recap of what you just learned about, and then the second one will be a preview of the upcoming chapter. You can also ask questions at Purplegator. We have some gators ready to answer any questions you might have. They're waiting in the swamp. All you have to do is use the hashtag Relevance Raises Response on Twitter or DM to @Purplegator. A little bit about me. I'm the president of Advanced Telecom Services, which was established in 1989 and is the parent company of Purplegator. Advanced Telecom has offices in King of Prussia and suburban Philadelphia, as well as in Canada, the UK, Czech Republic, and Taiwan. And some of the products that and companies that come under the Advanced Telecom Services banner is Rocky Point Media, a Hawaiian web development company, Advanced Mobile, which is a company that was sold to the publicly traded AutoBytel in 2016, Spark Network Services of Illinois, and 84444.com, which is the do-it-yourself message marketing. Now, what we do in the swamp is everything mobile and digital, everything done with a mobile-first approach. And that encompasses all of mobile marketing, from the simplest, which is SMS text message marketing, to the most complex, which is app development. And here's some of the companies that we work with around the country. I'm sure there's some logos there that you recognize. A little bit about me. I live in the Philadelphia area. I'm an avid mountain climber. Come out to Colorado and climb every summer. I'm an adjunct at the University of Denver, where I teach the online course in mobile marketing in the master's degree program in the communication department. I'm into dog rescue, and I'm also a baseball coach, and I've coached 6 guys who've gone on to play professionally, including one who's currently with the Tampa Bay Rays. This is the second book that I've written in 2016. I wrote one back in 1993, a full 23 years ago. So I guess my next book will be due in 2039. So please stay on the edge of your seats for that one. If you want to see some updated content to what the book has, you can go to relevanceraises.response.com. Now, chapter 1 of the book is really an introduction to mobile. And one thing that I like to say is the mobile phone number that you have today is your digital DNA. And keep in mind that the number you have today, no matter where you move around the country, because area codes have become somewhat meaningless when it comes to phone service, you're going to have that phone number probably for the rest of your life. So imagine how important that is to your business. You can acquire that phone number. And the thing that has really changed in terms of communication in the time that I've been in business, in both the marketing, communication, and telecom business, has really been the demise of the landline phone. So you can see almost 100% of households had a landline just 13, 14 years ago. And today, there are more households that are mobile only compared to those that even have a landline phone. And those of you that do have a landline phone probably live in the northeast part of the United States, because they're essentially for free if you live in the northeast part of the US. And things that have really helped companies like Purplegator grow has really been the proliferation of the smartphone. And today, according to Nielsen, about 87% of American adults have a smartphone. And of course, the younger you are and the wealthier you are, the more likely that you are to have a smartphone. About how technology has changed. This is the coronation of the Pope in 2013 and then in 2005. And you can see there in 2005, one little flip phone in the upper picture, but in the bottom picture, everybody's taking a photo and essentially missing the event itself. And think about the power that's in your pocket every day. All these things are things that we used to have to buy, and they're all now contained on a very small device that fits in your pocket or purse. Now, it's really the time spent with mobile and the time spent with media that continues to increase. And you wonder, how can we spend any more time with media than we already are? We're spending almost half of the day, every day, with some form of media. And part of that is because we've become quite adept at multitasking. So we're watching TV and we're tweeting at the same time. Thus, we're getting credit for multiple mediums at the same time. But the area that has shown the most prolific growth has been there after the purple arrow, and that is mobile. Just 6 years ago, we were spending less than an hour and a half per day with mobile, and today we're spending almost 3.5 hours with mobile. And you can see the corresponding decline at the bottom there in time spent with broadcast and also with print. So when was the year of mobile? That's something that's talked about almost every year. Some people say it hasn't come yet, but in my book, I make the premise that 2010 was the year of mobile. And the reason I've chosen that year is that's when the term was coined by Eric Schmidt of Google, a term that I use every day in my work life, and that is mobile first. So what are the advantages of mobile? We're going to watch a couple of videos now. The first one is a historic video from Motorola, which shows the early days of the mobile phone. And the second one is a video from Coors.
Those who think getting a car phone is not for them, whatever the reason, haven't kept up with the booming industry of cellular radio telephones. Scenes like this are becoming commonplace in U.S. cities where cellular is available today. This revolution in communications could make it possible for more and more people to have a phone in their car, or even one that travels with you. Like this unique cellular portable made by Motorola, which weighs only 30 ounces. Right now, businessmen and women are major users of radio telephones where cellular is in service. but more people will take advantage of cellular as its benefits become apparent. Eventually, seeing people using cellular phones may seem as commonplace as someone checking time on an electronic watch, figuring on an electronic calculator, or programming on an electronic computer. Industry watchers say there are only a few thousand cellular phones in use right now, but that number is expected to grow considerably within the next few years during the cellular revolution.
Miller Coors needed a campaign to draw attention to Coors Light's new double-vented wide-mouth can.
This technological masterpiece will revolutionize barbecues, beach parties, and tailgates.
Our mission? To generate awareness and create engagement with male Hispanic beer drinkers in the U.S. between the ages of 21 and 34. Using original mobile creative and gyroscopic capabilities only found on mobile devices, the very act of pouring a delicious cold beer became the centerpiece of Coors Light's new can. Our custom rich media unit also included social integration, prompting users to like Coors Light on Facebook. We delivered 36.2 million mobile ad impressions. The banner ad achieved a click-through rate of 160% above the 0.3 industry benchmark. From the initial engagement, 28% of participants tapped open the can. 72% tilted the phone to pour, and 25% clicked all the way through to Coors Light's Hispanic Facebook page. By tapping into the fun of virtually pouring a beer on a mobile device, the campaign created an instant connection between brand and consumer. Now let us pour you a refreshing Coors Light.
Mobile is the closest that any brand can get to its customers. And my background prior to getting involved in this end of the business was in television advertising. And if you go back to the 1980s, television was a juggernaut. There were only 3 networks. There was a couple of startups like MTV and ESPN, and there was Fox, which had absolutely the worst programming you could ever imagine. But the audience that we can get today at 6 a.m. on the mobile phone is bigger than the primetime audience that we had back in the 1980s. And some of the things that make it work so well are what we're going to go over here in part of this presentation today. So think about the restaurant business, and if you owned a restaurant, the fact is that people don't decide very much in advance as to where they're going to eat. Now, they decide a little bit more in advance when it comes to dinner time, a little bit less when it comes to lunch and breakfast. There seems to be no plans whatsoever. So it's kind of an impulse buy. So imagine what it can do for your restaurant when you reach out with a text message or a mobile advertisement to reach those people that are deciding between 11 and 12 o'clock where they're going to go have lunch today. You can reach out with the right medium, and there are several mediums that you can reach them with. We believe a lot in text message marketing. Certainly you can target people with day parting and only serve your ads, say, right before that hourly lunchtime, or you can reach out with a push notification if you have an app. So let's talk about the third lesson here, which is the mobile web. There's 2 dates that I think are very important when it comes to the mobile web. December 25, 2013. Anyone know what happened on that particular date? Well, think of it as on Christmas Day, people get a lot of mobile phones as gifts. And this was the first time ever when the amount of accesses to the internet, according to Google, were greater from the mobile phone than from the desktop. And it didn't take long for mobile to totally take over, because as of May 25th, 2015, just about a year and a half later, is when mobile took over that, where they're at 50% plus over desktop every single day since. And when it comes to email marketing, even email has moved from the desktop to the smartphone and the tablet. When it comes to mobile websites, one of the things I like to encourage people to do is to navigate a mobile website with your thumb. And that might be a similar situation that a large man like The Rock would have every day in navigating his mobile site. So if you can navigate your mobile website with your thumb, it's probably a pretty good one. We're now going to take a look at two videos. One which is something that we all love, the Minions, and what Chiquita did with their sponsorship of a Minions movie. And then secondly, in preview of the messaging chapter, we're going to look at how Ford has been selling more cars with text message marketing.
Lébito? Banana? Stuart? Macareno? Banana!
Everybody loves Minions, and Minions love bananas, which is why the fine folks at Fun Mobility were so keen to power the digital partnership between Chiquita and Universal Pictures, combining this with this with this to create something truly extraordinary. Medical-grade image recognition technology allows shoppers to scan the stickers on the bananas, featuring 32 different collectible Minions, to win instant prizes and unlock interactive mobile content. The Minions Love Bananas website, which runs seamlessly on both mobile and desktop without an app, offers an interactive sandbox of experiences for all ages. Games, greeting cards, recipes, and more. Everyone's a winner, and every activity rewards consumers with a new instant prize up to 4 times an hour, every hour, all summer long. Every action visitors take also means another chance at the grand prize, where one lucky family is going to win a free trip to London. It's a fun and addictive way to engage the modern in-store shopper, always connected to their trusty mobile phone, with instant gratification micro moments that drive brand affinity, lead generation, and long-term consumer retention. Chiquita's mobile audience loves it, almost as much as they love Minions. The site sees a return rate above 50%. 1 in 5 visitors sign up to receive rewards, and more than half of them opt in to receive future marketing from Chiquita through email or SMS messaging. Average session length is nearly 4.5 minutes, and users are so engaged they come back again and again, completing an average of 10 separate activities. Who would have thought that bananas could be so much fun?
With the reemergence of the U.S. auto industry, Ford vehicles were gaining international acclaim for their style, reliability, and eco-friendliness. Our goal? To transform passive advertising mediums like television, print, online video into interactive lead generation platforms, basically to sell more Ford vehicles. Our solution? The Ford SMS Lead Generation Campaign. The Ford SMS Lead Generation Campaign is both a broadcast and narrowcast campaign. After the initial SMS, if a consumer opts to continue the engagement with Ford, additional messages are exchanged. These messages culminate with a call from the local dealership to schedule a test drive. The Ford SMS Lead Generation Campaign has been in continuous use since its inception. It covers all of the United States, with direct participation from approximately 3,400 dealerships. Now that's a lot of cars and trucks.
Okay, so let's talk about messaging. I've always believed that messaging and all the other correlated services involved in messaging are the single best ROI that you can do with mobile. And it's because it's just so darn cheap to send text messages to folks. And people have actually opted in. So they're saying they want to receive your messages. But it's more than just SMS today. Really, SMS and text message marketing is really what started mobile marketing. When you think back to 2007, 2008, when you said mobile marketing, you really meant text message marketing. So SMS is really at the core of everything. There also is a product called Premium SMS. And with Premium SMS, which is all over the world now, with the exception of it being eliminated for the most part in the United States, except for politicians and nonprofits. It enables you to charge to receive a text message. And you might remember when the hurricane hit Haiti, Mrs. Obama went on Monday Night Football and many other primetime shows and asked people to text in to make a $10 donation. So that's premium SMS. It still exists, but it's really only for fundraising for politicians and fundraising for nonprofits. There's also MMS now, which is multimedia services. A lot of brands that we work with that are in the fashion industry use it. So with MMS, you can actually send an image along with your text. You could also send a voice file or a video with MMS. Some of the newer services that are out there are RCS, Rich Communication Services. Probably where you've seen that most recently is if you had an airline ticket boarding pass sent to you. That would probably come from RCS because it includes a QR code. And then there's a cool new product called Text to Landline. And I really urge you to do this if you've had a landline at your business for many years. Many auto dealers are using this now because when it comes to millennials and young adults, they really can't fathom the idea that there's a phone number out there that you can't text to. We have it here at our office, and we can get about 2 or 3 inquiries per week from people who have texted the main landline that we've had in business here for about 29 years. So the fact is that messaging really works. And the reason it works is because text message marketing is opt-in marketing, meaning that people have to actually request to be in your text messaging list. Now, how powerful is that when someone has said to you, I want to receive your advertising? And that's why it works so darn well. It's also one-to-one, but has a very mass approach because we all do it. And as noted with the restaurant example that I gave you a few minutes ago, it's extremely timely. If we can leave you with only one statistic today, I would say it's this fun fact, and that is that 90% of all text messages are opened within 15 minutes of receipt, and that even includes promotional text messages. The fact is we don't get a lot of spam yet. We get some every now and then, I guess, on our text, but for the most part, it's nowhere near the spam that we get on our email marketing. And it probably contributes to the fact that only 22% of emails are opened versus 97% of all text messages being opened. One of the things you'll get in my book is Bob's 60 top text messaging tips. And I like to remind people that text message marketing doesn't have to be just for B2C, it can also be for B2B. And one of my favorite tips is that when you're trying to reach the busy executive, send your text message just 3 minutes before the top of the hour. Why? That's when that executive is waiting for his or her next meeting to start, and he's probably looking at his phone, and that's when you might be able to reach that busy person with your B2B text message offer. Social media anymore means mobile, and let's take a look at the amount of time that we're spending on social media. We're spending over half an hour on both Facebook and YouTube every day. Snapchat, we're spending almost a half hour. So we're spending an awful lot of time on social media. Now, what does that mean over a lifetime? Well, over your lifetime, if the current trends continue, you're going to spend almost 2 years of your life on YouTube and 1.5 years on Facebook. Now imagine if we took all that time and did something like went to the gym or volunteered for a nonprofit. But anyway, you get the message. We're going to spend a lot of time in our lifetime on social media. In fact, over 5 years of our waking time is going to be spent on social media in our lifetime. And how does that compare with other things that we do? Well, the only thing we're doing more of is watching TV. We're going to spend more time on social media than we are eating and drinking. And what platforms are we using? Well, overwhelmingly, the gorillas in the room are YouTube and Facebook, and correspondingly, you can see the other most popular sites according to Pew. But the gorilla in the room, definitely Facebook and YouTube. Now, when it comes to US teens, what are the top performing platforms? Well, Facebook is still important, but Snapchat has become the most important platform for this group, where teens and young adults, your parents are coming, they're wearing their mom jeans, so you might have to find some other platform in the future. Now, one of the cool things that you can do if you're famous on social media is use it to make some money, okay? And if you have 3,500 followers, you can actually sign up for Facebook Brand Collabs Manager. And Kylie Jenner is the most famous when it comes to social media. Just one post from Kylie nets her $1 million. And you can see some of the other stars and athletes that are listed there who make an awful lot of money from posting for brands on social media. But it isn't reserved for just people this famous. You only need a few thousand followers, and you too can get in this game. So what are my favorite tips when it comes to social media? Well, I think the most important engagement is when someone shares or retweets your message. Why is that important? Well, because that's a vote for your brand. That's someone saying that this message or this brand means so much to me that I'm willing to share it with my friends. That's more important to me than a lot of likes and other sort of engagement with social media. And you know, one of the things that I want to recommend to every business, especially new businesses when they're starting out, is a lot of times people, when they start out and are naming their business, they want to make sure that they can get the social media accounts for that and get the URL. Well, a cool place that you can go to enter the name of your business is NameCheck, and yeah, it's spelled kind of funky like it is there. You can go there and enter the name of your business and see where that particular handle is available on social media. And you know, we can't do all of the social media platforms, that's for sure. So maybe you're only doing Facebook and Twitter and Instagram right now, but you may want to do Snapchat in the future or some of the others. So reserve your name everywhere, even if you don't have the manpower to use them all right now. Okay, so we're going to watch two more videos right now. The first is with Dunkin Donuts and what they did on social media and their partnership with NFL Monday Night Football a few years ago. And the second one, which is from Adidas.
Napoleon Bonaparte said, "The battlefield is a scene of chaos. The winner controls that chaos." In the National Football League, the difference between victory and defeat is a split second. That's why we created Duncan Replay. The biggest plays from Monday Night Football, recreated in real time using Vine. All the badassery of the NFL with Duncan products. To tease Duncan Replay, we created the first ever TV commercial made entirely in Vine. The campaign was simple. During every Monday Night Football game, we chose one key play and recreated it in Vine. The videos were posted across our social media channels before the games were finished. There were turnovers, close calls, and a few dust-ups. Duncan Replay was a fan favorite, and the scribes in the press box took notice. After all, the chaos of this battlefield is no different than the days in Napoleon, except it's full of coffee cups, playing stop-motion football.
Adidas has always felt like mobile is the right thing to do. It's the right place for us to be. It's really the ability to connect the investment to the return. My name is Nicole Mills. I'm the Senior Digital Marketing Manager for e-commerce at Adidas America.
My name is Carrie Smith, and I am the Director of Mobility at iProspect, based here in New York City. When it comes to measuring mobile, If we were to look at a one-to-one response or a one-to-one measurement of what our media budget is driving on our mobile site, we're missing a big part of that picture. As performance marketers, a lot of the time we look at direct response. And what mobile is requiring us to do is redefine direct response.
We're just noticing that a lot of people were finding stores using their device. So the central goals were for Adidas and I Prospect to sort of come together and figure out a methodology to measure consumers on mobile devices coming into retail and purchasing product.
When we worked with Adidas to figure out what this equation should be, we used a lot of their internal data. We were able to then apply that 1 in every 5 store locator clicks would result in a visit to a store. Based on that, we knew 13% of in-store visits would result in a purchase, and that average order value in-store was about $71. Because we knew that 1 person out of 5 every store locator clicks would actually go into store, it indicated a higher level of intent. So we applied a 20% conversion rate with an average order value of $80. After we ran a couple of tests, we were able to identify that every store locator click was then worth $3.20 for the brand. Once we applied this equation, we found a 680% incremental lift in ROI.
Before, all we would be able to track was if someone made a conversion in the e-commerce channel. After this case study, we now can apply some of these assumptions to then net a positive ROI. At Adidas, it was like, aha, we can play in this space.
So let's talk for a bit about mobile advertising. There's been a great sea change in terms of where dollars are going. On the left-hand side in the orange there, you see where money was moved from last year. On the right side in the purple, you see where it was moved to. So you can see overwhelmingly the biggest area that was hit last year was print advertising, and then followed to a lesser extent by radio and TV. And where it moved was all things mobile and digital. So where is it going to move over the next couple of years? Well, overwhelmingly, it's moving to the mobile internet. And you see the top bar there going so far to the right. Look at the first one in the red down there, the desktop internet. Even that's going to decrease. So you know that where the dollars are going is really to mobile when it comes to the internet and not necessarily to desktop. And it's interesting to note that traditional media is now involved in the digital game. Most importantly, newspaper, which now garners more than half of its money from the digital version of the newspaper versus the print version. And we find as a mobile agency that really our biggest competitors are broadcasters and print advertising companies that are now out there supplementing what they do by also selling digital advertising. But when it comes to mobile, it still doesn't get its fair share in terms of time spent with media there in blue versus dollars spent on that medium. So you can see there that mobile, with 27% of the overall time spent with media, garners just under 22% of the total ad revenue. And the one that over-indexes remains print, with only 3% of the time spent and almost 17% of the ad revenue. So when it comes to mobile advertising, I like to send the message that we like to target people, not places. And what I mean by that is we don't really care where people see the ad. We want to serve them an ad if it's the right person that we want to reach. And where do we reach them? Well, we reach them on direct mobile websites. We reach them also in apps and on social and through the mobile ad networks. How do we reach them? And this is really the differentiator in targeting people, not places, are all the incredible targeting mechanisms that we have. So if, for instance, you're a restaurant on the western suburbs of Philadelphia, advertising on traditional media is going to get you into Delaware, into New Jersey, and as far west as central Pennsylvania. Well, those aren't people that are going to come to your restaurant. So starting with a geo target, which is a radius from your business, or perhaps it's a geo fence that just identifies the wealthier zip codes in your area, is a great way for you to get your message only in the geographic trading area where you work. Geoconquesting is an exciting new tool that we're getting more and more technology available to determine mobile devices that have been at perhaps your competing stores, and then serving ads to those folks that have entered some of your competition. We also can do some of the demographic targeting that traditional media has done for many years, but a perfect example of how mobile does this so much better is if you wanted to reach men, you probably would think one of the first places to reach them is NFL football. However, 40% of the TV audience for football is female. So if you only wanted to reach men, that's all you're going to reach when it comes to mobile and digital, because we know who has the devices that we're reaching. We also can reach people through interests. So if you're a hardware store, for instance, we could find that someone has gone on YouTube and watched a video about how to hang drywall. That might be someone who's remodeling their home now and someone that you would want to reach. And then finally, day parting. We use this for recruitment of nurses, those nurses that are working the 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. shift. No one really wants to do that. So it's a great time to serve an ad if you're a competing hospital needing nurses, and try and lure those nurses to come to your hospital instead. When it comes to Facebook, it's moved to definitely a pay-to-play place to go. It used to be you could have a business page on Facebook and it was essentially free advertising, but no more. Only 1.5% to 6% of the people that like your business page actually see your posts. When it comes to small business, Facebook is really the small business juggernaut, and that's because the ads in the news feed take up 100% of the screen size, so they really can't be missed. They also are highly targeted, so they seem to be native to your consumer, in that it's usually something that they're very interested in. And here's an ad that I got served, something about beer, so they obviously think I'm interested in beer. And why is Facebook the gorilla in the room? Well, here's some ads that have been served to me in the last couple of days. So you can see some things that are B2B, that are different products that my agency might want to use, and other things that correlate to my area where I live and work. So here's a cool secret. There's been a lot of talk recently about what Facebook knows about you. And you can see there, this is how you can find out. If you click on an ad that has those 3 dots in the upper right, you can then follow the instructions and find out what's there on the right, which is things that Facebook has determined about me, that it's something that I should be interested in based on their knowledge of me, what I've liked, what I've posted. And that's a cool way for you to find out what Facebook knows about you and what they utilize to learn about their customers. So when it comes to mobile and digital advertising, it's really video that is what we're seeing the biggest growth in. And one of the cool things about video is it doesn't have to be very long. Videos can be just 6 seconds on mobile. They can be up to 15 seconds perhaps, because in many cases people are watching video where they're not near Wi-Fi and they can't download a long video from there. So what we're going to do now is watch a couple of videos, one which our agency made, which shows you examples of 6 and 15-second videos that you can utilize on mobile. And the second video that you're going to watch is how you can make money off of a mobile app, a really cool concept Hellmanns Mayonnaise did.
We've all been there, gazing into the fridge with no idea what we're going to make. In fact, 48% of people don't know what they're going to make for dinner as late as 4 p.m. So we go wandering through the supermarket for inspiration, or in desperation, depending on how you look at it. That's where we saw an opportunity to bring out the best using cutting-edge beacon technology. Because Hellmanns is for more than just sandwiches. Since we knew that most people make the decision to buy Hellmanns in store, we married the go-to foodie app, Epicurious, with beacon technology to deliver targeted push notifications. Marrying premium tech with outstanding publishers, we were able to deliver recipe inspiration to members when they need it most, wandering through the supermarket. The push notification technology gave users a Hellmanns recipe in aisle with the option to save it for later on their virtual shopping list. Seamlessly integrating our brand into the shopping experience in a helpful way. The response? People loved it. The idea drove in-store engagement and worked alongside other marketing activities to drive a 5% increase in perception of product versatility and a 1% lift in dollar share in a $2 billion industry. As a whole, this first ever co-branded experience gave those 48% of people who don't know what they're making for dinner some much-needed recipe inspiration. Bringing out the best in aspiring chefs, foodies, busy moms, and helpless bachelors alike. Bring out the best.
So let's talk a bit about mobile apps. It's a walking billboard in the pocket of your customers 24 hours a day. And apps have really been around for a long time. We think of them mostly with smartphones, but they actually go back to the first mobile game ever in 1994, Tetris. We certainly know how important iTunes has been. There have been some big acquisitions in terms of different apps that are out there. The one that really resonates is Facebook's acquiring WhatsApp for $16 billion in 2014, and the Angry Birds being 3 billion times that has been downloaded. There's now over 2 million apps on the Apple Store and 3 million apps that are on the Android Store. And really, it's apps that are taking the time that we're spending with mobile. And here's where we're spending our times within apps themselves. So you can see, again, the gorilla in the room being Facebook. And think about it, 5 years ago when you went on Facebook, you probably entered facebook.com in the browser, but today, nearly all of us have the Facebook app, and that's how we're entering to our Facebook page. Who are the most popular apps in the United States? Well, it's dominated by the Facebook products and the Google product. And we now are averaging 82 apps per smartphone, but the fact is we only use very few of them. So it's really important that when you develop an app, it has some stickiness to it and gives people a reason to come back time and time again. Here's the different types of apps and how you can monetize them. There are free apps out there, which the social media apps are. There's paymium apps where you can download the app for free, like Ellen DeGeneres' Heads Up game, but then you soon get tired of playing the same game over and over, so you add 99 cents to buy different categories. There's freemium apps, like you get with Angry Birds, where between each category you need to watch an ad before moving to the next category. But if you pay the 99 cents for the app, you no longer have to watch those ads. And then there's premium apps, which tend to be products that we already have a relationship with, or one of my favorites, which is MLB's Home Run Derby, where I can actually download the app, and if I want to have a stronger hitter, a stronger bat, better cleats, better batting gloves, all which help me hit more home runs, those are things that I need to pay extra for to those products. So we're going to take a look for the last chapter at mobile commerce. Okay, so it's really an omni-channel approach out there. The old sales cycle that we learned in marketing class in college is no longer in effect. There are so many different multi-touch points along the way, and it's hard to determine which is the place that helped sell your product. As John Wanamaker had that problem a long time ago, that still exists today. We know where people are getting touched when it comes to mobile, but we don't know what's really creating the sale. And I liken it to a soccer game. So the person who gets their name in the paper is the one who actually scores the goal. But if no one ever gets the ball up top to the strikers to score the goal, well, then they're never going to score that goal, and who gets credit for the sale? So who gets credit for the sale is the defenseman that has the first contact with the customer. Is it the second contact, or is it the one that actually converts to the sale? So for the final video here today, we're going to look at a really cool thing, because people always ask me, what's the future? What's the future of mobile? And you're going to see one of the things that is clearly coming and is already here in many cases, and that's virtual reality. And that's what I think is going to be very big with advertisers in the future. Here's what Gatorade did with Washington Nationals star Bryce Harper.
It's about you and the ball. It's about trusting what you've got inside.
Come on, get out. Get out of here. Come on, get out of here.
And that ball is out of here. That's Bryce Harper with the game-winning home run.
All right, so we just got to the Little League field, and you know, I'm very excited to get out there and see their reactions. It's gonna be a lot of fun. What's up, buddy? How you doing, man? Nice to meet you. Let the whole world see you. 1, 2, 3. Pick it up. There we go. There we go. Oh!
I was shocked when I took off the goggles, because I thought it was one of you guys, because you said raise your hand, and then it was him, and then my heart just started beating fast again, like I said before.
Here's the things that are coming in terms of the age of mobile. We're now searching through voice search as opposed to typing things in anymore. There's the Internet of Things, that we believe that the mobile phone is going to control the heat in your home. So when you're on your way home, you might adjust the heat so that when you get home, it's nice and warm for you. Certainly the connected car and the driverless car are things of the future. And we've already seen mobile wallets and the impact they're having. And then there you just saw something really cool with virtual reality. So with that, I'll turn it back to Jim, if there are any questions for me at this time. Thank you very much for coming today.
Bob, thanks a lot. You know, I thought I knew what I needed to know about mobile. You've opened my imagination to a few more possibilities that we can make use of here at Convirza. It's kind of exciting to think about that. So everyone, this is your time to ask some questions. It's wide open for you. I'm certain that you've seen a few possibilities today. You may want to explore that a bit. With Bob's knowledge and background, he's certainly a great place to start getting more information about what you're doing with mobile and how you can make it work better for you to reach your customers. They're out there. They're waiting for you to invite them to take advantage of what you have to offer, and mobile is definitely a way to be one-on-one with those people. So, well, Bob, while we're waiting for questions, kind of as a wrap up or as an insight, or what's next for people who want to make more use of mobile? What are some recommendations that you have for what they should look at, implementation, whether it's tools or concepts, what to look for?
Yeah, I think there's a couple of exciting things, some which are old hat and some which are new hat, but I'm always a fan of text message marketing, especially if you're a small, local, and regional business. Don't ignore that. It's not sexy anymore. It's been around for 10, 12 years. So it's not anything that's going to be that, innovative for you. But the fact is, you can get involved in text message marketing for $25, $40 a month with one of the many online text message marketing sites. And nowhere will you have the ROI that you have with text. The important thing is to build up the database so you have as many opt-ins as possible, so that when you send your broadcast messages to that group, that you're reaching as many people as possible to purchase your product. And then one of the other things that is relatively new is when it comes to the mobile advertising side, the whole device detection is really exciting. We're doing some exciting programs now, for instance, at trade shows, where we drive traffic at the trade show convention center to the booths of the businesses that are there sponsoring the trade show. So it's very expensive to go to a trade show, to set up the booth, to send staff there, house them and feed them at another location, travel costs. So you want to make sure that as many people visit the booth as possible. And with device detection, we can detect those devices that might be on the floor of the convention center or might be staying in the area hotels, and give them a good reason to come to your trade show booth.
That's fantastic. Now, remind us on the ROI of the text messaging. You say that it's much higher, and I know you gave the number earlier. Can you restate that?
Well, the fact is that 90% of all text messages are opened and read within 15 minutes of receipt. 97% of all text messages are actually opened at some point. So you can imagine the impact that would have for a flash sale or something like that at your retail store, to send it out to your database and to get people in right now. With many types of advertising, you're doing branding and you're doing brand building, and it takes a while for it to have an impact. Well, when it comes to text, if you have a great offer, you can get people in within minutes of sending out the text message.
Wow, so really you need to have yourself ready before you send out that text message, because they're going to show up.
Yeah, that's the whole idea, and you can see the analogy that we did earlier with the restaurant and how important it is to get those messages out at 11 a.m. because almost half the people that are in offices have no idea where they're going to go for lunch. I know with me, I walk out, I get in my car, I decide then where I'm going.
Yeah, it is. I'm with you. Typically how it is. Seldom, unless you're a creature of habit and you never change where you're going, you got to figure it out once you get in the car. Now, for setting up the proximity marketing with the mobile, how complicated and expensive is that for someone to do?
Well, it does cost more than a typical, advertising campaign in terms of a cost per thousand, but it's not complicated. It would probably be complicated if you tried to do it on your own, but there's lots of good help out there with agencies or DSPs that can really help you to target a particular location. The longer that you have in targeting that location, the more devices that you're going to detect. So it is tougher when you do something like a trade show and you only have 3 days to gather those devices. But if you wanted to use device detection at your competing business, that's a good thing that you can do, and something that can be an evergreen campaign where you're continually adding to that database.
Now, for the device detection, is it limited to near you, or could you pick a locality that maybe you're not by, and so it's like a virtual experience that you'd be creating if somebody is somewhere, but you would like them to respond to what you have available?
Yeah, it can go down all the way to a specific address. Now, it does not work on high-rise buildings like you'll find in New York City. You can't say, you know, I want to target the 47th floor of the Empire State Building, but it can go down to an address location specific.
Interesting. Wow, a lot of possibilities there. Like I say, you've opened my imagination to how to make use of some of these technologies that I hadn't conceived of before. So that's great. Well, Bob, this has been great, informative to me, and I'm certain those who were participating, this was wonderful information to have to start looking at. And once again, everybody, Bob has got a lot available through his marketing company. If mobile's important to you and you want to make certain you're doing it right and taking advantage of this huge opportunity to tap into mobile and all that it has to offer, great place to do that. So Bob, we really appreciate you being here with Convirza today. It's been informative, very helpful, and thank you very, oh, wait a minute. Oh, we do have one, it's not a question. Excellent webinar is the response. So that's nice to hear. Thank you very much.
Thank you for that. I'm glad to hear my family members are on.
Yeah. We always appreciate that, don't we? So Bob, thanks a lot. And everyone, thanks for being part of this. We always enjoy spending some time with you all and sharing much more about digital marketing here in these days when it's very helpful to be able to get a little bit more on our side to where we can work better with our potential customers. Thanks a lot, Bob. Take care, everybody. Until next time.